Good morning, ultimate hustlers and digital empire builders. It is 7 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, so y'all know what time it is. It's time for the St. Louis Hustle Podcast with your boy CORTEZ Hustle, my girl Michelle. Hey, and today we're talking twos company, threes polygamy.
That's just wrong.
Go down, man. What is polygamy? Is it something that should be less frowned upon in our society? Could you rock with it if your mate presented that to you as a viable option? If they said, hey, the only way we're going to be able to stay together is if my other boo is welcome into the fold, right? That's what we're going to talk about, all of that stuff today. So do us a huge favor, comment in the chat where you're from, drop the name of your business and or your brand, smash that show button, ladies and gentlemen, and let's kick it this morning.
Growing up in St. Louis has never been easy, and most say if you want to succeed here, that you must leave and put down roots somewhere else because of the strong crabs in a barrel mentality here.
I don't know if I'm just an optimistic person, but to see people like Chuck Berry and Nelly make it in the music industry, or the Roberts brothers and Dave Stewart in business, or William Lacey Clay Jr. in politics, can we blame the city, or is it that people just aren't hungry enough?
We're talking to all of the movers and shakers in this town, from entertainers to politicians, social activists and organizers, and of course, entrepreneurs.
Is there a curse on this city that holds people back? Is there an unseen hand that decides who makes it and who doesn't? You're about to find out.
Welcome to St. Louis Hustle.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the St. Louis Hustle Podcast. I'm your host, CORTEZ Hustle. That's my girl, Michelle. Hey, and we are coming to you live and direct from the Throne Online Marketing Studios right here in St. Louis, Missouri, home of the Black Biz Success Mastermind. And guess what? If you have any questions about how to use video marketing in your business, if you join our free mastermind group, we are doing training on video marketing for the rest of the week. So all you got to do is text mastermind to 314-866-4053. Again, text the keyword mastermind to 314-866-4053. Today at 11 a.m. is our first training where we're going to be breaking down the number one lesson that you need to know to get into video marketing and how to set your intentions and all of that good stuff. So you got to rock with the mastermind. There's some great free training and all kinds of stuff going on inside the community over there. So just wanted to drop that on you. Today we're talking polygamy, but before we get into that, Shirley, how was your weekend?
Man. The weekend was great. So I work weekends now. I have a lot of work stories. And it's PSA. Now, a lot of y'all know I love a new job. I'm in the community, feed the children. And so I just have one thing. Well, you're receiving the service at no charge, people. Please and thank you is extra. It's not a requirement, but please and thank you helps. I love it. I love
beggars can't be choosy.
That too. That's number two. Beggars can't be choosers. Because first of all, we feed children in the community and we get more adults go, it's just juices and crackers and sandwiches in here. What did you expect? A fifth of Hennessy? It's for kids. We're feeding kids, not grown-ups. They get mad because why the juice is so little? Well, because they're for kids. What are you saying, people? So yeah, I love it because it gives me an opportunity to continually interact with people. And so I had a slight altercation at one of my sites over the weekend, and it was right. I've been kind of waiting because I'm like, you can't be in a community like this and crazy folk don't come out. So God bless them.
Somebody, Michelle?
Man, I had to put the pause. She was about to put pause on me. I was like, what do I do? And sometimes you just don't know what you're gonna do when you find yourself in a situation. This vehicle pulls up. We have certain questions we gotta ask because again, it's for kids. And so there's a man and a woman in the truck, and the kids don't have to be present. That's fine. So I said, how many kids? When I say this lady went from 0 to 100 real quick, man, she leaned across that driver, put her elbow in his forehead, was like, you don't even need to know, ask me that question. And she just was going. I was like, whoa. So I work with a truck driver. The truck driver is the one that loads the food up. And so she was like, you ask me this question every time. I just gave this other man my information. She just went. Now, it wouldn't have been as bad. But God bless her. I'm going to say that is my, don't be trying to send hate mail if you do to that guy. This sister was missing a whole eyeball. She ain't have on no patch, no shades, no nothing. I just gone. And when I say she was giving me the business, and when she put her elbow in the driver's face, it was like, quit asking me questions and what you think. And I was just like, but because I'm a people person, logic and reasoning tried to kick in. The driver was like, chill, give it a food, chill. I'm like, but no, I need this information because this is what we need to, we're trying to do. And she was getting further and further across him and out the truck. Then the truck driver goes, because the woman was like, y'all know me. And then he was like, ma'am, I don't even know you. I'm looking at him. He like, I just picked her up. You just picked her up.
Who's driving her to the?
Yes, he just picked her up randomly. I was like, what are y'all doing? I said, I bet you gonna think next time you decide you see something and think you want a little piece of something. Is it worth it? He said he's sitting there, his eye, he was so scared. He was like, I'm about to drop her off. Matter of fact, you get out here. No, don't put her out here. Don't put her out here. No.
With you, where she came from.
I was like, who this woman, Harpo? She belongs to you, sir. You cannot just put her out. We want to put her out on site. And she was ready to, I ain't want them hands. And you know somebody bold, she didn't have a patch on, and she was still one eye, willing to throw them hands over a bag of. The driver was like, give the bag, Shell. Give her the food, Shell. What is you arguing? What you trying to reason with this woman? She got an elbow in the man's face and she got one eye. You really try to reason with that? A wrap. That was my weekend. That messed me up. I seen something I shouldn't even seen that day. Woo! I see why they wear the patch. I'm done.
Yeah, it be like that sometimes. It be like that sometimes, ladies and gentlemen.
It be like that. My adventures. I love it though. I'll be back next week. I love it. What about your weekend? Bet you didn't have no fun like that.
No, I did not have any fun like that. I'll tell you, I don't get a chance to watch TV like normal folks, but this weekend, if you follow basketball, then there's a kid that one of my sons played with. He actually plays for North Carolina, right? Look at he plays for North Carolina, and he actually helped them get to the national championship game. He played a really good game, so we got a chance to check that out over the weekend, which was pretty cool. I think my most eventful day was yesterday. Took my car to the dealership to, because the light is on, it ain't supposed to be on. So
right.
These jokers had me up there all day. Shit, I probably should have sold a couple cars and made me a few coins while I was waiting.
Right.
Only to give me my car back and say, you got to come back tomorrow.
Oh,
I was like, yeah.
Oh,
crazy. So
that
apparently there's something going on with the make and model of my car from the manufacturer, and the part is on back order, and it ain't safe to drive.
What happened to the days where the dealerships, you take your car to the dealership when you bought from a reputable dealership, and they take your car into service and they give you a loaner? What happened to those days?
Well,
they don't do that no more.
He was waiting for his manager okayed it, but he had to get the okay from his district manager, and there was a whole bunch of stuff. And he's like, "Well, we'll just bring it back tomorrow, and then we'll give you a loaner tomorrow." This is crazy service. So now I got to find me another dealership to take my car to for service, because I don't particularly like that. But that's the dealer that I bought the car from. So I figured I'd go back to you guys. And,
right.
But nevertheless,
geez,
we'll figure things out. So we're talking polygamy today, ladies and gentlemen. Is it right for you? Could it be right for you? Could you see yourself in there? And hopefully we can have a conversation devoid of traditionalism, right? And really just think about it, logically, openly, and honestly. It's one of those things where it's a worthy conversation to have. But I know that fear of shame, fear of judgment, sometimes causes us to steer clear of conversations like this. Well, we're going all the way in today, ladies and gentlemen. And But before we do that, we got to get into Michelle A's word of the day. Is you ready? So
let me 2.2 seconds. It's gonna be a quick one today because I admit I didn't prepare it. I know I'm gonna be prepared. I ain't prepared.
So now you messing me up because this is when you do the word of the day. It's usually when I.
But I got it. Right. Jesus saves. Oh, Jesus saves. So he said the other verse. Okay.
Let's get into the Michelle.
They gotta go to church.
Of the day.
And now the Michelle I word of the day.
Woo! Thank God for Jesus. Okay. The Michelle A. What's up, people? The Michelle A. word of the day is going down right now. It's me, your homegirl, Michelle A. And today, I'm going to stray a little bit. I've been a little bit all over the board. The whole Will Smith thing messed me up last week and stayed with me the whole week. I didn't get a chance to prepare like I would. Hark. I still got something for you, though. I still got something for you. So my pastor over at Influence Church, Pastor Darnell West, he has been teaching on what makes the devil mad. Like what gets up in there and smacks the devil all up in the head. Right. And so I'm a fairly new member to Influence Church, and I absolutely love it. Okay. The pastor is young. He's dynamic. Him and his wife are strong leaders, and I'm loving the environment that I'm in. Love it. So shout out to Influence. So this word for today is he's teaching on how to make the devil mad. One of the ways you can make the devil mad is by having a vision, right? Having a God-given vision. In this week's series, he talked a little bit about how people have dreams. A lot of us have dreams. But the difference between dreams coming true and dreams just staying dreams is having vision behind those dreams, which I thought was so poignant, made so much sense. I have many dreams, many aspirations, but they remain only in my head. They remain only that until I put the rubber to the road, right? Until the dream becomes a vision. And some people would think that's the other way around. You get the vision, then you get the dream. No, you have a dream of being or doing something great, doing something that you've always wanted to do. But then, you know, the Bible says, write the vision and make it plain. You got to write that thing out. Once you write out the vision for said dream, then you got to consult the master. You got to consult God on it. That, I believe, is the only true way to have success with your vision, is to write it down and then pray about it and then really trust God to kind of walk you through those steps. I think doing that is really almost as foolproof to you accomplishing your goals and your dreams, aka your vision. So that's it for today. That's your A word of the day. It's your girl Michelle A.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Michelle A word of the day, brought to you by the Black Biz Success Mastermind. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you want some free step-by-step video marketing training. When I say video marketing training, I'm not talking about videography. I'm not talking about how to edit. I'm talking about how do you use videos to grow your business, to attract leads, to make sales online, to build your brand awareness and all of those things. That's what we're talking about. It goes down in the Black Biz Success Mastermind every day for the rest of this week. We're doing a training on video marketing. So text Mastermind to 314-866-4053. It's 100% free for you to join the group. And we literally give you hundreds of dollars of free training, tools, tips, resources every single week. So again, text Mastermind to 314-866-4053 to join the community. Now, Michelle, we're talking polygamy. So let's get into it.
Okay, real quick, right? So here's, I've been pulling stuff out of places. And so when this concept came to me for the show, it actually was because one of my neighbors, I have a neighbor that lives across the courtyard from me, and he's an interesting brother. I'll just say that. Don't really know him so well. We had a few conversations in passing last summer, and I was coming in. He knows we do the podcast. I don't know if he watches it now, but shout out to my neighbor whose name I forgot. Hey, neighbor. And he called me coming in one day about 2 weeks ago, and he says, "Hey, you still do that podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah," And he said, "Hey, why don't you talk about?" Excuse me. He said, "Why don't you talk about polygamy? Paramony? Talk about polygamy for unmarried folk."
Mhm.
And I was like, he mentioned the name of it, and I didn't know what it was. And I made a face. He said, you know, one man, multiple women. I said, consensually? He was like, yeah, people do that. You don't think you don't like it. So we began to have this conversation about that kind of relationship where it almost sounds like he sounded like he was doing a sales pitch. Where I was like, sir, what? No. But he was, oh, it's, you know, not as uncommon as you think, and a lot of people are doing it. I think it's worth talking about. And so I was like, whoa, oh, okay. I don't know if he was trying to get me to audition to be a sister wife, but because I think he got one over there already. I don't know where we was going with that conversation. But it is something that you mentioned it earlier. It is really taboo in some circles. You know, you got shows about it, you know, all over, you know, cable networks. You got sister wives, there's big loves, escaping polygamy, people who want out. My 5 wives, interesting. Seeking sister wife, and escaping the the prophet. So all of these shows are about polygamy. You know, one man, multiple women. Now, what I found interesting is that none of these shows were about one woman with multiple men. They call that something else. But I thought it was worth an interesting dive into discussing that this morning. I like that you said that, you know, some people don't talk about it openly because they're ashamed. And here's a little small tidbit: it's against the law in this country. It's not legal in the United States. Other countries do it, Afghanistan, India, etc., but it's not legal in the United States. I believe that Utah has some special stuff going on. I don't even know how they get it to work, but because it's still illegal. But I digress. So that's what we talk about today. I don't know if you want to drive off with this thing, but it's a couple points I wanted to hit because it was interesting.
Yeah. So what is polygamy? It is the practice of marrying multiple spouses. So, and to make it legal, then you just take the married part out of it, right? If we have another agreement that's not sanctioned by law, but you, me, he, she, her, them all agree, then it is what it is, right? When a man is married to more than one wife at the same time, sociologists call this polygamy. When a woman is married to more than one husband at a time, it is called polyandry. In contrast to polygamy, monogamy is marriage consisting of only 2 parties. So polyandry is what they call it if one woman marries multiple men. Polygamy, one man marries multiple women.
Do you really think, though, that women, you know, you don't hear about it as much? You don't hear about polyandry. Sorry, what we call polyandry. Polyhodism. No, sorry, that's just the joke. There might be one out there. You know, we do get listeners that hop on our page, and sometimes the listeners may not be friends of ours, but they be from like way around the world and way other places. They be getting on with some comments. I'll be like, I don't even know how to respond. So I don't want to hit that one person, that one woman that got 5 husbands. Some girl you don't even know. Let me not. So yeah, I didn't know. You don't hear about it with women. I guess that's my whole point. And there is such a stigma in society today about when a woman is with more than one man, consensually or unconsensually. There's such a stigma that comes attached to that.
Well, unconsensually, they call that rape, Michelle.
Right.
I mean, that's what they call that around here. It's non-consensual.
It's really against the law then.
They call that rape. Yeah,
it's really against the law then.
It's a whole different show.
Whole different show. I guess maybe consensually was not the word I was looking for. But I guess conventionally, when a woman takes on many partners, it's just it's just what they do, and everybody is cool with it. Then a woman gets labeled. When a man does it, it's just so different. That's a whole, again, bordering on a whole different show, but I think there's a psychological thing that goes with the whole polygamy part of it. That I think people have explored it. It may be a bit I'm not gonna say controversial, but it's a bit what do you call it when you can guess what's gonna happen? That's it, predictable. A bit predictable. Because you can imagine. I mean, anybody that's seen any of those shows, you see how it goes. The man got the 1 week he over here sleeping with this family, then he over here sleeping with this family, and their houses are all in a little compound, and I don't know. We're gonna take a dive in, but first, you might be wondering, how do I know what's right for me? Maybe I've been missing out. Maybe I need a taste of the high life, because you got to be high to do some stuff like that. Oh, another thing. So ask yourself a couple questions. I'm gonna ask you the question and I'm gonna answer it for you, because that's the kind of good Christian woman I am. I'm gonna give you the answer. There it is. All right. Here's what you need to ask yourself if you've been considering this lifestyle, if you think you're missing out. Do you feel that you're capable of being attracted to more than one person at a time? And if so, what does attraction mean to you?
Right. Well, I certainly think that everybody has the capacity to be attracted to more than one person at one time. And I want to go back even previously. I did watch some studies of women who do polyandry. No, I didn't do polyandry.
I know you said I want to go back, because I did. I was like, oh no, what you do? If that's sugar, no, please. Yeah. You said see a Smith & Wesson into the frame of the camera, like, oh Lord, got the commercial.
Yeah, but in this situation, like they were like it was a community thing where the woman had 3 or 4 guys, and they all lived in. They didn't necessarily live in the same place, but they all had keys. They all came, would come and go as they pleased. But the way she explained it is that not all the relationships were physical, but they could be, and no one had anything to say about it if they were. But it's like, hey, I got this guy who just really right now he's in this box for my emotional support box, and I need this guy to be able to talk to. I got this guy that I need, to fill me up physically. Like this is my dude for that.
You didn't have to say fill me up, but go ahead.
I mean, yeah. And then I have, she had these different men in these different roles in her life. And because they were all polyandry and polygamous in their thinking, if I'm the emotional guy with this chick, I don't necessarily need a physical relationship with her, because I get my physical relationship from another chick, right? Because I have other chicks. Like it was a whole web of stuff. Goodness. But when you think about it in that sense, I wonder if that's not how it goes when a woman is married. It's like, hey, I have this emotional connection with this dude, but I'm married, so it never goes beyond that. And this is just kind of what it is. I have, of course, my husband is my everything, but I think because the conversations are so, again, taboo, can a woman even get away with saying, I love you, honey, and I would never cheat on you, but I do like spending time with this guy for whatever reason. Can that be, but we're not supposed to, you're not supposed to be able to even say something like that. I know my feelings would be crushed if my sugar said something like that, but I'm just thinking out loud, like these conversations, because of traditionalism, because of social acceptance and things of that nature, it's like these are a lot of times are the things people think without ever saying, right?
Okay, so there's so much to unpack there. First of all, I think I did something like that once in my life, 2 times in my life, where I had what? I had one that met the physical need. I had one that met the emotional need. I had one that was the jokester, the fun guy. Everybody played their role. Now, the only difference with me is they ain't know about each other. So probably wasn't the same thing.
So
however,
you was polyandry back in the day.
Man,
you just didn't bring them brothers to the table and issue the contract to say, hey,
right,
this is your role, Joker.
Yeah, they just did right. They all didn't know what place they played. They just knew they had a seat at the table. They just didn't know who had the big chair. They didn't know who got the big piece of chicken. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know I'm gonna get something out the chicken bucket, but I don't know what piece of chicken I'm getting. Only one person got the big piece of chicken. So there it is. That's the guy that sits at the head of the table. But I'll just say this. Really interesting what you said, right? Because even if you put traditionalism aside, because I could be a little traditional to some degree, but if you've ever been, and I unfortunately, this is one of the things when my neighbor brought this up originally, I laughed and said, oh, I've been in that kind of relationship before. I just didn't know I was in that kind of relationship where I was dating the guy and he had about 4 or 5 other women. Just didn't know I was a piece of the party. But when you think about it, not being traditional, like, oh, it's not right. Let's go about the just feelings and emotions. You don't get that person's time 100%. You don't get their time. You got to split. No man and woman can give each other 100% of their time because they have to have life and do them and do all that. So that 30 to 45% that might go towards a relationship, you now got to split that 30 to 45% with 2 or 3 other females. And when you split it, how much are you really getting? What portion are you getting? He might be all zonked out. You ain't getting physical. Maybe he's all spent out. You ain't getting financial. Maybe he's emotionally tapped out. What part do I get? And am I okay with getting the fraction that I'm getting? Because you can't have 100% of a person, even when it's just a monogamous relationship.
Right.
But even when it's polygamy, or polyandry, can you really deal with the percentage that you're going to get, the small percentage of the small percentage that you're going to get? Can you deal with that? I think that's the question to answer, not even about traditionalism. Will your feelings be hurt because he climbed in bed with Sally Sue and not you because it's her turn? Right. Will your feelings be hurt because he's depleted? By the time he gets to you. That's the part right there that I think is probably the more, I guess the part that people really need to truthfully examine. Now, I know somebody, baby daddy, who has survived years, and he's a good dude. He ain't no polygamy person. But from the male perspective, I guess, outside looking in, I've seen, some of my male friends have relationships with multiple women, and everybody is cool. Now, they may or may not know about any woman that don't know your man cheating. Stop lying to yourself because you know that joker cheating. You may not want to admit it, boo, but you know when he's cheating. And some women are okay with that. And what you said earlier at the top of this conversation was, okay, I know I don't get the physical. That's okay. Emotionally, they fulfill me. I'm going over here and get physical. And then you get physical from that person. They know that's all they have it to. But if they want emotional, they go somewhere else and get it. And then that person there, and then before you know it, you got this web of people that's mixing all kinds of stuff. And I think it's dangerous. Emotions get involved, and before you know it, you're on Dateline.
Right. Well, there is a theme song for polygamy and polyandry. Come on now, you got to know, right?
Wait. You down with OPP? You down with OPP? Down by nature?
That could be.
Thank you for being a friend.
This is a ballad. Yes. Yes.
Wait. Something by the OJs. Me and Mrs. Jones. I give up.
My man Aaron Hall and Guy said, "Baby,
I hate you.
Have all of me because I'm not totally free. I can't tell you everything that's going on."
You can have a piece of my love.
That's all you get is his little piece.
Get that right there.
Now, but in reality, that's basically what this is. Hey, here's all the cards on the table, right? I have a very, very, very healthy sexual appetite. one that's so healthy that one woman can't fulfill it. So if you're okay to join this flock, this fold, this is what it is. Or I have a very, very, very healthy emotional appetite. I got so much going on that I can't dump all of this on one woman. So I need a second ear to listen, right? Can you come to the table and be part of this unique family, right? And this is how the terms are laid out, right? Hey, you are a cool person. You seem like you're struggling a little bit financially. I have an abundance. If you moved into this fold with you, right? If you moved into this fold, you'd be taken care of. And here's my expectation of you if you came into this fold. Like, I think all cards on the table and no secrets. I think that is the big sale of this whole situation. Because even believe it or not, in a polyandry relationship or a polygamous relationship, they're still cheating.
I've heard that, and I even think I came across that. I think in what you just said, that part, because everything's on the table, and these people, be it 3 or 5 or however many, they make a commitment to the polygamy lifestyle, right? And so I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like if I look at the sister wives guy, right, the guy that everybody apparently finds so attractive, but the man is, I'm like, really? This dude look like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Like, how is he pulling this off?
Right, you hear me? How is he pulling this off? Who made him Mr. Sexy? I don't even understand that. Whole nother story. But when you accept that lifestyle and you say, yes, I'm going to enter this fold, as you call it, I'm going to be committed to you as a man. They get all of that on the table, and you virtually, what do you call it? You audibly, or it's a spoken contract. You speak it, because I don't think, like I said, because it's not legal. In a legal contract, you can sign, but you make a verbal, that's the word, make a verbal commitment. I'm not going to give my comeuppance to nobody but you. And I'm going to honor you and be with you, whatever you need me. That's the trick right there. I need more stipulations. You want me to be whatever you need me to be. The devil is a lie. You can support me. You can support me financially, sir. And I'll see you on the weekends.
But I think that's what it is. It's not I'll be whatever you want me to be. And I think in some of these TV programs and things, I think that's TV. And a lot of it is dramatized, over dramatized for TV. But when I saw some real documentary type films around this whole lifestyle, it's not I can be whatever you need me to be. It's like, hey, here's the relationship, and here's what I'm expected to bring to the table. Here's what I'm expecting you to bring to the table. And if we could fulfill this, because you think about it, there are a lot of career women, for instance, who are hecka busy, and they don't have time for a traditional relationship. And they might just want to get their physical needs on and just find a situation that says, hey, this is what it is. I know you are not committed to me emotionally, and your lady said it's cool for you to step out once or twice a month and you're okay with that. I trust that we are all taking care of ourselves health-wise, and you do it for me in this area. And I'm going to show up at your doorstep a couple of times a month. And when I'm not on the road travel, like there's a lot of situations that I think this fits for people. And I think it fits for even more people who are willing to admit it. And the reason they're not willing to admit it is because we're not mature enough as a society to have a conversation about what goes on in other people's lives. Yeah. It's like Wanda Sykes got this thing where she talks about when gay marriage was a hot topic, right? She said, if you don't like gay marriage, perhaps you shouldn't try to marry a gay person. What do you?
Right. Because that's the only way you should really not like it. Just don't be in it. Don't be in it. You know?
So, and when you talk about the feelings piece, I will tell you, like, I had a dream one time that my sugar stepped out on me, and I woke up crushed, like to death. Like, oh my God, like it was so bad.
So sugar comes to you tomorrow, says Cortez. I've been thinking. I love you, baby. And you know, you do everything I need, but I think we need some help. So what we gonna do is we're gonna bring in Roger. And Roger is going to support us financially and emotionally. Welcome, Roger. Welcome, Roger, to the poll. What do you do? How do you feel? Do you go, well, hello, Roger? Emotional and financial is all you got, Roger. Those are your two jobs. Sign here, sign here, sign here. It's a contract between us. It ain't legal, but what do you do?
I can't handle it, Michelle. You know why I can't handle it? And this is why most men can't handle a woman having a male friend, right? Mm-hmm. Because we've all been the male friend. And we know, like what Chris Rock says in one of his older stand-ups, we know we are hanging around to be, in case of emergency, break glass.
Right.
That's like, yeah, I'm your friend, but also we waiting on that one night where you had a little too much to drink, or you are uber vulnerable. This struggle broke the camel back, and it is, in case of emergency, break glass, right? So I think that's where the challenge comes in with me particularly, but I think a lot of men feel this level of threat when another man is being any type of support or anything for their woman, because we know that the natural attraction, and as much as we don't like to admit it as men, women can have a breakdown. Women can get vulnerable. Women can find themselves in situations where they can't resist, right? So I think that to me, I just could not handle it at all in terms of having to share my sugar. But some people absolutely can. Some people, for them to remove the guilt from their situation, like I told you, when I was out there being a heathen, then that was a different situation. Right. It's like, hey, I don't care about what you do. You don't care about what we do. When we together, we together. When we apart, period.
You see me in the street, you don't know.
you don't know. Right.
See
like
me with somebody else.
Yeah. You see me in the street, fool, you don't know me.
Right.
But when we're together, we together. Right. But
right.
We're not.
Right.
We're not. And I just think society as a whole should take a back seat to one's own, what one feels it's their own ability to be happy emotionally, physically, spiritually. And if that takes multiple people in your bed or not in your bed, because some of those polyandry relationships, there's no physicality going on at all. But like all of these people are like hanging all over this woman, and she's like, I ain't sleeping with none of them. And I was like, oh, okay. But I think we don't think about the fact that all of us are so uniquely different. All of us have unique needs. And because this thing has been done a particular way since the beginning of recorded history, we just think that that's the only way that it can be done. And we don't even have the discussion about all of the millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions of people who are in marriages flat out miserable.
I'm glad you said that, right? So actually, what the Bible say, now I'll say this, there are scriptures, because I got to do a full research. So there's not a specific, because we know, first of all, polygamy is all through the Bible, right? Mm-hmm. And we know that if we are rightly dividing the word of truth, the Bible is prescription and description. Mm-hmm. Everything you read in the Bible is not telling you, go do that today. There are some things in the Bible that are just describing the custom and traditions that were done in that time. There are other things that are very point blank that said, go do this. So prescription or description. So polygamy is talked about in the Bible. There are several men in the Bible, while Old and New Testament, that have multiple wives. Doesn't mean it's telling you to do that, but there are also no scriptures that say don't do it. But then there's no scriptures that they don't play in traffic, but you don't play in traffic. Ooh. Anyway, hold that story. But there are scriptures that support single man and woman marriage, single man and woman relationship. So I think just considering that, there are.
But even in those scriptures, it says marry one, but it doesn't necessarily say don't have concubines while you're married.
True, it doesn't. But again, you can split a hair on so many ways, I think, and which is one of the wonderful things I love about studying, the Bible. That it can tell you, okay, it says don't murder. You know what I'm saying? Don't murder somebody. But it didn't say I can't rough them up real bad. So long as I don't kill them, I can do it. Right. It's one of those things. But I think that's where a heart condition comes in. I think that's where people look at the word and your heart really, when it's really embedded, that's when you'll know. And we're having light fun with this now. But I think that really is one of those defining moments where, okay, marry one woman, but do you have a concubine? I think your heart will guide you on that. You know what I'm saying? And I think what's right will eventually, it'll come out to be right. But there are some folks via the article that I read that feel that there's some advantages to polygamy, right? So there's some advantages and disadvantages. I wanted to hit a few of what they list as advantages and get your opinions on them. And they hit some of the disadvantages. So I'm gonna give you a few of the advantages. Number one, polygamy has been present in history for a long time. We just talked about that. So it's not something that should be so frowned upon because it's something that's been out there. Number two, humans are polygamous by nature. Are we? Because God made two people. He didn't make Adam and a bunch of women. Hold up the story. Okay. Number three, you get a bigger selection of partners when you're a polygamist. I said, that's looking at the glass half full. Here's another glass half full. There's a lower risk that people will get bored in their marriage because, we just can't have boredom in your marriage. Want to spice it up? Add a few more people to the party.
Listen, especially some women who are going to be catfighting once a week. Like, you want some spice in your marriage? Oh, yeah.
You sell tickets to that? What you talking about? That's a pay-per-view event right there.
Yeah,
that you created another revenue stream.
You creep in sister wife number 1 bedroom when it's sister wife number 3 turn and see what happens.
Right? You hear me? You can sell that.
Right.
You hear me? You can sell that. You just created another revenue stream. There you go. You're welcome. Bigger families imply more connections. You get to love on more people. Okay. The concept of one soulmate for everyone is flawed anyway. I don't think it was flawed. We just jacked some stuff up with sin in it. Okay. Here it is. You can expand the gene pool. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you, Michelle. I'll tell you about that. And this is my own arrogant ego. I tell Sugar all the time, I say, I'm going to go down and I'm going to save some of my soldiers. And but then I saw that movie where the guy did that and had 18,000 kids and they all came back and found him. Like, wait a minute,
Daddy,
I don't want that smoke.
You're Daddy. You missed the last 42 years of my life.
I do wonder sometimes, like, hey, should I go and say
create more hustles around the world
out here? What would that combination be? This hustler with that hustler.
It would be the ultimate hustler for real. You're talking ultimate hustlers. You'll wake up, have your own YouTube channel, greet your own kid. Good morning, ultimate hustlers.
Hey, Daddy, ultimate hustler.
I can't. That's what. Whoa. Okay. This is Okay, this is a stretch. Polygamy makes sense if there's no balance between males and females in your region. Excuse. A lower incentive to cheat in a marriage. I'm not really cheating if I slept with Melba. And we all married anyway. And I can hear cigarette dangling on the man's lip. And you was busy at church meeting and Melba was home. We all married. I wouldn't be with nobody else but Melba. You want to be with Melba? You could be with Melba too.
No, it's not Melba's day.
You're
missing the principle. It's not Melba's day.
That would be the fight. You don't get it. And Melba, if you don't stand down, it's going to be me and you. Because you know you was wrong. You took my day.
But I get what they're saying. If we are all in this covenant pact, then, and I got the 3 that I really want, right? What I consider my 3 soulmates, then I don't have to go out and cheat on them 3, right? With somebody else, with a 4th, right?
Can you really have 3
and that's what I mean.
soulmates?
And that's what I mean by you can still cheat in polygamy, right? They have covenants and agreements that says, hey, there's a process to add a sister wife. Like you can't just go out and start dating and just go out and start. It's like, hey, if we are thinking about adding a sister wife, this is a conversation we have. Then you are free to go out and start dating. And then before you can sleep with, before you can get physical, before you can get entangled, we've all got to meet her and we've got to agree over a period of time. Like I think about Brother Polite, for instance. I think he's got 4 wives, 5 wives, 4 or 5 wives or something like that. But they have a process like to adding a sister wife to the fold if it ever comes to that. And he has been with one woman since they were teenagers. So they know that like she is above them all. And it's like, okay, she has a special place and everybody else comes in, and then based on the agreements. And I do have to say is like, because he's successful financially, he creates these covenant agreements that says, hey, if this doesn't work out, then you get this house, you get this business, you get this piece of property and all that. So there's a lot of contractual stuff, but you can cheat on a polygamous relationship if you guys have those types of agreements. And you talk about spicing it up. You come home to 3 wives, talking about you cheated on 3 of them. That's a whole different type of smoke. Wait a minute. He not with you? He not with you? He not with you?
Where he said he was? No. World Star. You know what I seen, and I don't know if this guy that you're talking about. I did see a show, and I'm gonna call it Black Sister Wives. I'm pretty sure it's not what it was called, but it was African American couple or throuple, and they were auditioning a young lady to add to there. It was a man and a woman. They used to have a 3rd partner. It didn't work out. So they were auditioning or dating this woman, right? And so the woman would spend time with the female. The man and the woman had been together for a while. They had several kids together. And so the woman, they went on a woman date. And their relationship was more of that sisterly bond, and we get along real well. And she's trying to, school her on this man or whatever. And when the woman went on a date with the man, the original woman, she was allowed to come on XYZ amount of dates, right? And play the background to observe. So there were some scenes where she observed them being romantic. They wasn't like screwing, but they was kissing and hugging and, being familiar. And she had to sit there, and there was her candidness, again, TV, but her candidness said, I'm in this lifestyle because I agree with it, but I'll admit it's hard to see him being romantic with another woman. I know it's good for us. It's good to have the expansion in our relationship, blah, blah, blah. That's what they tell you to say and whatever the rubric is. But she was being honest and vulnerable, saying, I have to admit, that doesn't make me feel great all the time. I want him to be happy, but seeing him kiss and finesse another woman the way he does me, I'm not always okay. And I think that's the realness of it. I think some women choke it down, they suppress it. But I think as a woman, as a woman. You can be as secure as you want to be. You know what I'm saying? I've known women that say, oh, I'm out here and I'm screwing this guy and I'm screwing that guy because, you know, it's my life and I have control. Bullshit. That is a lie from the pit of hell. I think that it's not about having control as much as it is almost self-sabotage. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to accept this so that I don't get hurt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They think it's empowering control when really it's control because I'm protecting my emotions. If I just allow it and I'm jumping from man to man, bed to bed, I don't have to care if he goes home to his wife because I made the decision to lay down with him. Right. I think at the end of the day, and I've known females at the end of the day, in your core, you still hope for your Prince Charming to come along so you could be in that monogamous relationship that you are building with multiple men. Another story. I took a left right there.
Gotcha, but that's serious, and that's why I know I can handle it, Michelle. That's when they say you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. There's very few things that my sugar could do that I won't try to embrace because that's how much I want to be with her. But there's certain things that get to a certain point. It's like, hey, that's gonna hurt too much, and it's gonna be miserable for me personally, right? And it's those, like, you have to make some real hard decisions in this whole world and be okay with some of those decisions. Like you said, I would die if I saw my sugar loving up on or another man loving up on, and this is an agreement that we made. It's funny, and even with threesomes, some married couples they're not doing the whole polygamy thing, but they introduce threesomes to their marriage. I'm like, what if this man pleases my woman more than I please my woman, and then she falls in love with this man, and it's a wrap for me, right?
You're right.
There's a lot of like, I couldn't handle it, but I don't believe that is the case for everybody. I believe that some people are emotionally in a place, whether you call it cold or you call it disconnected, to say, hey, this makes me happy. This satisfies me. And here's the bigger problem that I have, or the biggest question that I have. We are ever evolving people. So what happens when you grow out of this agreement of being polygamous and you want something more, right? What happens when y'all just grow apart and you grow in sophistication and you grow in understanding? You adopt a religious philosophy or principle or stance about yourself, and all of this changes like that. Like, what happens then, right? And how much are you entangled at that point emotionally? Do this man got a baby by each one of the sister wives, for instance, or like,
are all the kids getting? I think it's a web that it's a snowball effect, right? And I think what you just said made so much sense. We are ever evolving, right? And I think those that aren't, and I'm gonna step out here. Remember, all hate mail goes to that guy right there over there. I'm gonna say this: we're ever evolving, and I think that if someone stays in that kind of relationship long term, with happiness and glee. Okay, let's fast forward. We're kicking it in our 30s, being all like that. We're now in our 40s, our 50s. When you get to your 60s and your 70s, what things have happened over the last 20 or 30 years in a polygamous relationship, right? For the woman, you know, there are some, I'm not saying that there aren't any relationships that are balanced, but what happens when a polygamous relationship is unbalanced and it's unhealthy? All of them ain't. Hell, if all monogamous relationships are not healthy, then you got to know. I even would dare to say that there's a higher percentage of emotionally unhealthy polygamous relationships than there are monogamous. Because in most situations, to get that off, somebody, there's a disconnect between here and here for somebody in that group. You know, not all.
But is there really, though? Like, we say it's a disconnect because of our social acceptance of one man, one woman together. So it seems unnatural. It seems to us that a person got to be out their mother-loving mind to accept something like that.
But let's
But
look
do
at
they
the
have to
physical.
be?
But let's look at the average person, right? There's always a
Mhm.
unicorn everywhere, every here and there. But the average person's emotional makeup, what we need emotionally as human beings,
Mhm.
right? Not just societal, but what we need as human beings. I don't think that's changed from Adam to current. I don't
Mhm.
think that's changed that much, that people need love and affection, and we need certain things for us to thrive. And I'm just saying, in those relationships that are long term, is there some emotional things that are off balance for a person to stay, or for a person to impose that lifestyle, or say, hey, this is where you need to be? Are all of the polygamous relationships healthy and balanced? They couldn't be, because all of the monogamous ones are not.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Not
Makes sense.
crazy. It's different.
It's
And
different.
crazy. Sorry, it's
And
different.
really, that's what I want the takeaway to be from this is it's different. And if people are never allowed to try different, how do we know that different doesn't work? Right? How do you know that different doesn't work? Now, like I said, I know myself emotionally. I know myself well enough to know that it would crush me. Like if she even asked a question, I'd be crushed.
I know myself psychologically, and I would crush him. I would crush whoever the guy was. I would crush you, dude. Like it's that it would be. I had a guy years ago, and he asked me, "Hey, can I bring another woman in the bedroom?" No. And as a bargaining chip, he offered to let me bring another man in. I'll let you bring another dude in. Okay, if you let me bring in another. No. Anyway, I know we get to the end of the top of the hour, so my takeaway on it is you're right. It's different, and
it's different, and I think where it is genuine, I think it could work for those who are genuinely open to this. Like you're saying, is one person may have been manipulated into the situation and may be being strung along for whatever reason. But I think if it's genuinely, hey, it's a couple of y'all that I'm digging on. Hey, I would wonder if we could all get along and we'd be okay. And everybody says okay genuinely, because everybody is there for their own selfish reason.
right.
And it fulfills them in those different cups, physically, emotionally, spiritually, whatever the case is. And nobody is there due to manipulation or experimenting and that kind of stuff. Like that, I think that's a different place.
Oh, but just keep in mind, I know we so close on time, but just keep in mind what you just said. Oh, I love this discussion. You just said everyone's there for their own selfish reasons. Mm-hmm. Selfish. What is selfish? If I'm in a group situation and I'm there for my own selfish reasons, I'm going to be that selfish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Selfish doesn't work in a group setting. And so you're always going to have an unbalance, because I'm thinking about me. I'm here for this reason because I need this. I'm in a group setting. I'm selfish. Selfish is going to be what it is.
All right. Well, we're going to end it right there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let us know your thoughts on polygamy, polyandry. Can you hack it? Can you stand the smoke? Until we talk to you guys next time, I want you to get your money up, because you absolutely can do it. And more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every single one of you. Now hustle up.